Grazie Paolo, Professor Gubita. It's my pleasure to be here, I have to say. You gave me a big responsibility. Of course. With all the nice words. And I'm here first of all because I have a lot of friends here, and I see a lot of friends. So when friends call you, you go. And so many of the professors you have here on the first line are people I know since many years and have a very high respect of what you do and what you are. And it's a pleasure always to be with students because you have all your life in front of you and you can decide the directions. And today probably with enrolling in this course, you have taken already a direction. So I will say many things, but the most important things I will say today is that you choose the right university, the right course, and the right city. So 3 good, right choices. Because Padova is a wonderful city. This university has a long heritage and high-stand professors. And third, this course will give you, for sure, work possibilities in the future, because your work will be one of the most researched, for sure in Italy, for sure in Europe, maybe also overseas in other continents. So, congratulations for your choice. Who of you comes from other countries and it's not Italian? Just to have an idea. Wow. Wow. Wow.
56 students out of 125.
Wow, great. So there will be diversity in the classroom, which is very important, and it's one of the aspects we always search with sustainability. When there is diversity, there is more complexity, but you learn to deal with it. And there is always complexity in life as well as in companies. And so you have to work a bit harder, but when the group is diverse, it's much more stronger. That's why we want women in the group. That's why we want different nationality. That's why we want different studies choices. So I will start saying that what I do in Confindustria. Confindustria is the associations of companies in Italy, and it counts 150,000 companies. Of those, 25% are with manufacturing, and we talk about 5 million workers. So it's a big association, it's the biggest in Italy for sure. And so what we do with Confindustria is mainly 2 things. Lobby, so we are always dialoguing with government and policymakers, European and national, and we do also advocacy. It means we try to address directions with our entrepreneurs and also with the society. So when we say something, normally we are listened because we are so powerful and so strong and we count so many companies. So I will start saying that we are facing today 3 global crises all over the world. Climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. And this is for sure, even if some people are still saying it's not true. It's either we listen to scientists or we don't. And normally it's better to listen. We have listened about those things and about sustainability most recently, in the last, I would say, 8 years. But if we look back, 50 years ago, Club of Rome, which is a private association, gave to MIT in Boston a study, and the study had a very meaningful name, which is the limit to growth. Searching a reply if the growth we were having was sustainable in the future or not. And guess what? The MIT, which is Padova, it's a very famous university. MIT, it's a bit more. a bit more, at Harvard, replied that the type of growth was not sustainable through decades. And they gave like 50 years as the maximum length for this growing rate. And guess what? Last year was the 50 years, and so 50 years ago nobody thought it was true. They thought, okay, this is scientists saying something that we don't believe it. Today we say we believe it because we have seen that this enormous development has some good sides, but also some bad sides. And the bad sides is for sure the pollution and the impact we have on the planet. So if we look back to 2015 is the Paris Agreement. So it's only 8 years ago. 197 countries during COP21 agree on one goal: to limit the impact of the companies and on the human on the planet by 2050 to zero. So zero net impact. So it's only eight years ago. Today it seems we have always a talk about sustainability. It's not. And Europe, the European Commission, with the Green Deal, decided to be upfront in this goal, to be the first continent to become net zero. And so they did the Green Deal, which is already a lot of plans, and they work on Fit for 55, I'm sure you have heard about that, which with the aim to reduce the CO2 emission by 55% within the year 2030. So very strict goals, very strict goals. Today, we say that economical growth, economical development, and the biodiversity of the planet, the protection of the planet, are two goals which are not more one against the other. Because no one would agree to stop the economic growth. So the two goals are together, they are synergic. And when we talk about transitions, very often you will listen twin transition. The transitions are two: digital transition and green transition. And guess what? 1215, during this Paris Agreement, it was December, exactly in December 1215, OpenAI was founded, which can be a coincidence, but very strange coincidence. So 8 years ago. So what do we say in Confindustria? We say that industry is part of the solution, has been part of the pollution, but today is part of the solution, because all the innovations we need to reach net zero are not existing. Most of the innovations are not yet available, and the industry is the actor, the key actor who will be able to produce those innovations. So there is a big responsibility here. Companies has a big responsibility. Government, individuals, but companies as well. And a very important word is and will be cooperation. More and more cooperation will be required among governments, among countries, among companies. So it's a different way to look at things. So the question is, are companies engaged? What do you think? Are companies engaged? Yes.
A good grade is coming. Or is waiting for you. Dai.
Yes. Yes. Who say yes? Very few of you. I can say companies are engaged, and we see it from the data. 2/3 of the small and medium Italian companies have already done on voluntary basis actions to reduce their own impact. There will be a regulation asking to do something, but let's say on voluntary basis, it's already a lot. And about welfare, there is a welfare report index, that is saying that in the last 7 years, the number of companies who has a high welfare has more than doubled. So data are saying that companies are engaging in those issues, which is very important. And what we say is that sustainability is going to change the model business of the companies. Till today, all of us have thought that the resources are unlimited. We can use all the resources, no problem. Today we know that it's not like this. Resources are limited and the earth is a closed system. So whatever we use or we damage stays into the system. So we have to change the way we do things. And so the business model from linear are going to be circular, and from extractive, you use the resources, are going to be regenerative. You use the resources, but then you regenerate. And the final goal is that your own company become regenerative. It means that if you exist for the planet, it's a very good thing. So it's a long way and it's a long journey to do. But we also think that the most difficult thing will be to have all the chain to become green. It means when you will start counting how much the company is impacting in CO2 emissions, at a certain point, scope 3, which is the most difficult, you will be obliged to count how much your suppliers are polluting. So it means that all the figura, so the green, the supply chain, has to become green. So it means that if you are into supply chains, you will have no choice. You have to become green. So all companies will have to do something and to change the way they do things, which is a good thing for you, because it means there will be a big requirement of people who knows how to do that every day. If we look at the Italian industrial system, and I'm sure it's the same for many other industrial systems, the emissions of CO2 in the last 10 years has been reduced of 25%. It's a very big number. And in terms of recycling, Italy is already recycling 83% of package, carton package, all packages, which is a lot. Of course, all those are all requirements given by the European regulation, but Italy has been upfront in that. In fact, it's one of those economies which is renovating to be very circular, which is very good. A very important thing, if we look at the issue from a high point of view, is that every country and every person has its own impact on the planet. So if we want to become net zero and be good for the planet, all the work has to become net zero. As I told you before, Europe has decided to be upfront, to be the first to become a net zero continent. But this sustainability has to be global. If we look at the situation today, China is responsible of 33% of CO2 emission, which is more than Europe, United States, India, and Russia together. So you understand that if India, Russia, Europe, United States do something good, but China does not, we don't solve the issue, because the Earth is a closed system, it's all connected. So the sustainability and the transition need to be global. And second thing, which is very important, need to be integrated. What does it mean? That if I go for a solution which is good for the planet, but I forget the people, it's not a good solution. I have to put together environment, sustainability, and social sustainability. So I have to go for both goals. We say no one has to be left behind. Okay? Very important. So we say that it's very important that Europe address this transition. But if you read the newspaper, you will see that very often, even Confindustria is against many of the European law. Why? Once again, a step back and we look at what is happening in the United States, in China, and in Europe. United States with Biden has done, it's called Inflation Reduction Act, which is some norms, some laws that are given money to innovate companies. So it's like an active position. United States thinks that companies need to be reinforced to be able to help the transition. The same has done China with a law which is named Made in China 2030. So they are giving money to help the transition. Europe is just the opposite. Europe is giving restrictions, is binding solutions, and so we say we agree on the goal, but we don't agree on the direction. Europe should give freedom to companies to innovate. Because, as you well know, the innovation comes when you're free to think about something which doesn't exist. But if you're already telling me that you want me to work on something which is existing, it's more tough, and I will do my job. So with Europe, we have such a position. We agree on the goal, we have to be zero net impact, but we don't agree on the direction. I'm sure you will already heard about Industry 5.0. We have had Industry 4.0, where digital was put with manufacturing. Now it's 5.0, which is the difference. In 5.0, we put together the person, human, so it's a human-centric industry or policy. We talk about sustainability, which before was not there, and we talk about resilience. So the European regulator knows that we are in very shaking times, where companies will need to go through a transition, but always keep the person in the center of choices and the sustainability in the center of choices. So we say that sustainability, you can look at that with two different lenses. It can be an obligation, and this is the worst way a company can encounter the sustainability, or you can see it as an opportunity. And when it is an opportunity, it's much more effective, and it's much easier, I would say. So I'm going to, I'm at my end. Where are we now today? September, there was at the United Nations in New York, a summit. It was called SDG Summit. And what they have done, we are exactly in the middle of the road that is taking us to 2030. And so, United Nations wanted to make a point and see where we are in our transition. Unfortunately, we are not in a very good position. We are late in all the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals. But all the countries have decided there is a need to accelerate. So the transition will be, or should be, even faster in the future. So once again, a lot of work, a lot of investment, and a lot of people that know how to do things. That's why everybody of you, I'm sure, will have 3, 4, 5, plenty of requests, job opportunities, which is wonderful. Good, so before going to my conclusion, I want to share with you a research we have done with Confindustria last month. And we have asked the consumers how much they take in consideration the sustainability issues when they buy something. 80% of the Italians reply they look at sustainability making a choice. 28% says they pay a lot of attention, and 52% they pay enough attention. So it means that we are a very high percentage of people who care about sustainability and pay attention to the issues when they make an investment. So that's good. There is a growing attention to the green. So, making my conclusions, I would say that transitions need to be done on time, so we will see an acceleration. But at the same time, we want our country and our continent to still remain an industrial country, an industrial continent. The industry and the latest development has given us a level of lifestyle and worth that the world has never had before. So I'm sure no one wants to stop that. And that's fine. We don't have to stop that. We have to do the two things together, which will be a bit complicated, but not impossible. And the last thing I want to say is that a research we have done with Federal Manager, Confindustria and Federal Manager, stated that there is need of 4 million professionals with green competences in the coming 3 years, only in Italy. So, no doubt, you have a bright future. So, congratulations, and I wish you a wonderful courses, a lot of fun in Padova, which is a nice city, and all the best. Thank you.